Let me in fact now go across to Dr. Nikhil Palli, frequent flyer and aviation lawyer. We also have Air Marshal Rajiv Sachdeva, ex-Deputy Chief of Integrated Defence Staff. Thank you for joining us. Let me first come to you, Air Marshal Sachdeva. At the moment, we are looking at possibilities only. At the moment, there are a lot of speculations doing the rounds as to what may have happened between the takeoff and the crash landing, because everything was over in just 5 minutes. When you look at these visuals and you come across the details, what is your assessment? Air Marshal Sachdeva, can you hear me? All right, let me in fact try and go across to Dr. Nikhil Palli. Dr. Nikhil Palli, you're a frequent flyer as well. Does this send chills down your spine when you think about what happened to those people on board?
Well, first of all, my deepest condolences and commiserations to not just the passengers and everyone, but the whole country. It's a national tragedy. Unfortunately, I will have to answer your question in negative. As unfortunate as it is, the only saving grace out of any incident like this is that it makes flying safer in the future. Coming back to the question, I have my various own reasons to believe why this has happened. If I may start on that, from the unverified videos, I think the one thing which is aptly clear, if we take the unverified video to be a verified one, is that the plane is unable to gain altitude. It's not able to lift. It's in a state of semi-stall, and that's why it's come down. Now, in my opinion, there are 100 reasons which might come out in the investigation, but there are only 4 ways by which this happens. One is circumstantial errors. There might have been a bird strike. I don't think that has happened because there have been no as such reports. I don't know videos show an engine flame out or something. There could have been a foreign object debris from the previous aircraft on the runway, which takes us back to the Concorde crash in 2000. No one knows, was the runway checked immediately before this flight? It's checked periodically, but it's humanly impossible to have it checked before every aircraft. The second could be a machine error, because these aircrafts are fly-by-wire. But at the end of the day, people are misinterpreting fly-by-wire. The pilot in charge gives an electronic signal, but still you have hydraulics, electrical actuators working. So it's not as if the pilot is himself pulling the hydraulics, but it's sending a signal. Now, could it be a machine failure? It will only come out once the black boxes are received, once the investigation is over. The third angle is a human involvement. Now, human involvement could be thrice harm. I don't want to say it could. I hope it is not, and we trust our very experienced pilot. It could be a pilot. It has happened in the past. Emirates, if you remember the Melbourne takeoff, in which the pilots entered the incorrect takeoff weight, and the plane took a lot longer to take off, and it hit the runway. Fortunately, it could come back and land. The second could be someone on the job was not doing their job properly. You have to see this as an airport inside the city. Are there slaughterhouses near there which attract vultures? We've had enough problems in our Air Force bases in Ghaziabad, Ambala, to name a few, with these slaughterhouses. Was there a reason for that? And the third could be, I don't want to jump the gun, I don't want to say, but and I hope it is no case of foul play. But in these heightened times, we've had a huge military success over adversity. There could also be a human angle, a malafide criminal angle involved. It's too soon in the investigation. I hope it is not the case, but these are my opening thoughts on why this is what I think why it could have happened.
Absolutely. It's difficult to put your finger on one thing and say that, this may have happened for sure. There are possibilities that we are looking at the moment. Air Marshal Sachdeva, what are your views?
First of all, let me tell you that the aeroplanes are not designed to crash like this. Okay, and neither the pilots are that untrained that they cannot handle anything in this kind of a phase. 1500 feet is a very critical phase in which the aeroplane is on takeoff as well as on landing, where both the pilots and the machine, everybody is absolutely on the ball. Now, what we've heard is this aeroplane was 625 feet. And from there, the aeroplane is descended with wings level. It appears as if it's in a controlled flight descent. That means the pilots had a control. That's why they gave a mayday call. Now, mayday call means they've lost both the engines. The aeroplanes are not designed like that. That both the engines go off at about 600 feet after takeoff when they've been tested, taxied, full power, takeoff, and then this happened. This is actually not possible.
Right.
Unless you have bird ingestion, like what Nikhil was mentioning. Coincidentally, you got the uncle and nephew both together on the same show today. Unless the bird ingestion happens, then at 600 feet if the birds have gone in, or we should have seen some smoke coming out of the engines. We
Right.
should have seen some fire coming out of the engines. So that has not happened, which normally happens when the birds go in. So why has, and the undercarriage has not gone up. The first action the pilot takes after takeoff on a safe height, maybe 100 feet, says gear up. That means the undercarriage goes up. Here the undercarriage is down. What went wrong in the cockpit that the crew did not take the undercarriage up? They gave a mayday call and they gone into a descent and gone and crashed. The pilots are trained to handle an engine failure, and let me see, the track in which they've gone and hit the ground is 223. That means 223 degrees, and 230 is an runway heading. That means straight on the takeoff path is what they've gone down. They haven't gone left or right because of engine failure.
Right.
They've gone straight into the takeoff path. Mayday call has been given. Nobody from the Boeing, nobody from Air India, nobody from DGCA can tell you anything as of now. Neither we experts, unless you get the cockpit voice recorder, which tells you what the crew was discussing. And the flight data recorder, which will tell you what was the state of the engines, why the undercarriage was not going up, or what went wrong in the aircraft, what was the flap position, what was the rate of descent, though somebody is saying it is 450 feet, somebody is saying it's 800 feet rate of descent. Unless all this is analyzed on the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder, which you people call as black box, unless that is found and investigated, I don't think we can reach to any conclusion in our debates today or till the time that happens.
So you're saying no amount of analysis or speculation or discussion will help you arrive at an answer till you recover the black box and analyze the data on that. I want to go back to Nikhil Palli. Nikhil Palli, is it too soon to start talking about passenger safety? Is it too soon to talk about review of fleets operating in India? Because the DGCA, according to sources, has already asked Air India to submit a report on the health of their aircrafts. Well,
unless they know something, they are privy to something which we in the public don't know. Because otherwise this seems to be a knee-jerk reaction. I mean, let's be honest. Air India, unfortunately, has been the butt of a lot of jokes, but that has only been limited to its interiors not holding part, the TV is not working. When it comes to flight safety and structural health of the aircraft, I think Air India enjoys a very, very good reputation amongst the public at large, and it's a globally reputed airline. So unless they are privy to something, I think, in my personal opinion, this is a knee-jerk reaction. We need to be. It is never wrong to start working on public safety, which was the first part. I mean, it's an ongoing process. You need to go it, but immediately, without knowing what it is, maybe it's not an aircraft. My personal gut feeling is that there was some FOD, or which has led to the internal flights, the controls not working. That is my gut feeling. But that is also very primitive. We don't know what was the reason.
So I'm not an expert Air Marshal Sachdeva, but a lot of people, there's a lot of chatter happening on social media as well. I'm not saying all of that needs to be paid attention to or all of that is reliable. A lot of people, definitely talking about how they are surprised that this has happened to Boeing Dreamliner. A lot of people also, talking about the troubled past and history. How do you look at that?
See, first of all, this is a 1 in a million, if not 10 million chances that a crash like this has happened. So keep it as your tagline that this is 1 in a million cases that such an accident happens. The last I remember was in 1991, and that too in the Air Force. And there was a reason which we discovered that what had happened. It is not so easy. No aircraft is cleared by the technician for flight and accepted by the pilot for flight unless it has been declared fit for that flight. When the aircraft lands, there will be 10, 20 problems with that aeroplane during the flight, which the pilots do handle. Come back, report the matter. The matter is investigated, only then the aircraft is handed over to the next set of crew for next flight. So I think the procedures are well laid down, and DGCA is there to look into whether these ISO procedures are being followed or not. Every airline in India follows these ISO procedures, so it is not possible that a technical snag which could lead to this kind of a crash has been left unattended to. So it's not, and Dreamliner, there are more than 1,000 aeroplanes flying in the world today. It doesn't happen like that. It just doesn't happen like that. So just take it as a 1 in a million chance. Let the CVR, FDR come out, and I think the whole case, DGCA is very prompt in putting out the reports out into the open domain. It will come out as to what went wrong, and definitely it should not happen again because it's happened 1 in a million. Let's shift it to 2 million, 3 million the next crash. We should not have a crash like this ever.
Absolutely. We should not have a crash like this ever. Dr. Nikhil Palli, do you agree? Because, the more you discuss the issue, there are more people who start talking about the kind of inconvenience that they've faced during flights. A lot of people also talking about, remember the series of incidents that took place where you had the engine failing mid-air, or people spotting smoke emanating from the engines, or the wings on fire. And then you have a lot of experts saying that there are a lot of backup plans. The pilots are trained to handle such a situation.
Yeah. Well, firstly, you need to understand what the Dreamliner is. It's the 787. It's the first of the.
No, I was not trying to compare the recent incidents with the Dreamliner. I'm just saying there are incidents that have come before.
I'm going on the engine because what you're referring to is what is being referred on social media regarding engine failures. There was an engine problem with the Dreamliner, but that was majorly limited to the Rolls-Royce engines. Air India does not use them. Air India uses the General Electric engines, which only had one known recall, that too in 2013 for de-icing, which in this case is impossible, 45 degrees Indian summer. So there is no question of, like at the outset, I mean, there could have been an ad hoc or a one-time problem which has led to this. But when it comes to history, there is no question. I mean, the Dreamliner has changed how long-haul flying is, is flying all over the world. It's opened up these thin routes. In fact, even this route, Ahmedabad to London Gatwick, would not have been possible with a full-size wide-body jumbo jet because the economics don't work. And neither a small plane does not have the range. So that's the reason this aircraft came in, mid-size wide body. And in the morning it flew from Delhi to Gujarat, which was a positioning flight to take it to Gatwick, So tier 2 cities fly to Gatwick. That's the whole point. And it's changed from flying all over the world. So in my humble opinion, Boeing might have had problems with the MAX and the oncoming 777X, but as of now, I would not like to, unless something comes up, say it's a pattern or it's something to worry regarding what has come out earlier.
Right. Now, Air Marshal Sachdeva, what are the procedures that lie ahead of us? What are we looking at? And, how much time does it take for the data on black box to be analyzed?
See, what can be seen that the tailplane is the tail portion of the aircraft is right stuck into that building. So that means there's nothing gone wrong to the black boxes. They can be pulled out straight away. And within no time, they are milked down. That means the data is downloaded into graphs and charts and digitized form within no time. It can come down by evening to by night to night. But the analysis of that as to what went wrong, where, how, some experts will sit down, even the software that they are to tell you how and what exactly happened. So that's not an issue. Within no time it can come out. But the reasons for this, linking it with the cockpit voice recorder as to what the pilots were feeling, why the gear was not up. And if there is a single engine, if one engine goes out of the two of them, nothing happens to the aeroplane. The aeroplanes are loaded to fly with one engine. The passengers and the entire load is actually done for one engine. The second engine is because what if one engine fails? They don't fail like that. I mean, the millions of flights happening and you don't have an engine failure. But the pilots are trained to take action on this engine failure. Now what will happen is the AIB, which is going to get into, this is the investigation agency of the DGCA, they have a set procedure. There's something known as HFACs. Once an accident happens, there are some 66 types of reasons which the world has identified that because of this, the accidents happen. Whatever happens in the flight data recorder or the cockpit voice recorder, here it is just about 5 to 7 minutes from startup till the crash.
Yes.
So within this 5 to 7 minutes, they will put the analysis onto these 66 reasons why it has happened, and you will get the analysis straight away out. Thereafter, the procedure of the inquiry happens as to where and how to put it into the places. But otherwise, I don't think that the data will take much long to tell us what exactly happened, especially in an accident like this where it's just about 5 to 7 minutes. So they are well trained, and the investigating bodies of the DGCA are aware what to do. And in any case, the company is also offered to the Air India, that means Air India's team, DGCA team and the Boeing team are going to get together and then find out why this happened, because it doesn't happen like that in the world. All need to know what went wrong. If there was something very serious...
That's one question all of us have been asking. The speculations are around that question. We don't know the answer yet. Stay on with us, gentlemen. We have some breaking inputs coming in at the moment. And this is what we're given to understand. According to the Ahmedabad Police Commissioner, G.S. Malik, who's spoken to news agency ANI, the police found one survivor in seat 11A. So one survivor has been found in the hospital and is under treatment. At the moment, the commissioner says, cannot say anything about the number of deaths yet. The death toll may increase as the flight crashed in a residential area. We have Kritika joining us with more details. Kritika, what are you picking up about the information coming in that one passenger, one survivor was found?
Yes, definitely. In fact, this is what the latest is coming in a miraculous, in fact, event. The police is saying that passenger who appears to have been seated at seat number 11A on this flight is being believed to be a survivor in this horrendous and the most tragic crash that we have seen as of this day. Remember, earlier we'd also see the police make statements of the tune that it appears unlikely, remember being the key word here, that it appears unlikely that any survivors would be possible. But right now we are hearing that one survivor is being identified as somebody who was seated on seat number 11A. This comes definitely as a relief, but we're yet waiting for official confirmation from the police as well. These are just preliminary reports that are coming in. On the other hand, in fact, FIMA, the Federation for All India Medical Doctors, have also confirmed that 3 MBBS students have now been identified as deceased. They were the students who were at the crash site. Remember,
and Kritika, one second, as we speak, in fact, we are also playing out the video in which the survivor can be seen walking on his own, surrounded by people. This is a miraculous escape, a miracle, in fact, for survivor Ramesh Kumar. The survivor sat on seat number 11A, and the details that we're getting at the moment that he is the sole survivor of AI 171, jumped out of emergency exit when the crash landing happened. Kritika, over to you.
Right, exactly. So this is, in fact, as you said, Mr. Sharma, the initial reports that are suggesting that he used the emergency exit, he jumped out of it, and he appears to be the sole survivor. This is the first that we're hearing of any possible survivors as well, because remember earlier we were being told continuously that it appears unlikely. We've seen visuals of the crash, the explosion that had happened at the point of the crash, the visuals that have come in from the crash site as well. Absolutely horrifying and very, very tragic as well. But this survivor, the news of a survivor being right now identified is something.
Well, earlier, remember, the local authority said that there are very less chances of anybody surviving this tragic accident. Now we're given to understand that there is one survivor sitting on seat number 11A who jumped out of the emergency exit to save his life. And we're also playing out the video. You can see some bloodstains on his clothes, but he's walking on his own. He's under treatment at the moment. I'm thanking the guests. Thank you to Kritika as well for getting us the information. Very quick break with that.